Chris here with something a little different. I've never checked out in the channel an electric skateboard, and this one right here is from Inskate and it's called the Woboard S. So the range of this one is a claimed 12 miles or about 19 kilometers. I will of course test that in this particular review right here. It has a top speed of 35 kilometers per hour, which I think is very fast for a skateboard. And it does have these rather large wheels on it, which I do like the look of. Now that top speed works out to be about 22 miles per hour. So in this particular review here, I'm going to cover the design of it. We'll have a brief look at the application, how to ride it, and then my road test, range test, and then finally at the end of this video, my overall opinion of the Woboard S here.
The skateboard comes double boxed with a lot of padding around it. And inside you will find a user guide and some stickers. Our charger, so my model, the Woboard S, will take 3 hours to charge. The Woboard is 2 hours. The remote control, we've got some spare rubbers here for the trucks and our tool here. So that's for tightening up the trucks if you wanted to and removing the wheels. So the board is 88 centimeters long or 3.5 inches. It's made out of wood, so it's a maple wood they've gone with. Got grip tape on the top of it, of course. You would have noticed that there is this display on the top of the board, so you can see this when you're riding. You can see the speed you're doing, your battery life, the remaining mileage, the temperature of the controller, whether the controller's connected, and even the status of the front and rear lights. Now this skateboard has some big wheels on it. They're not your typical street ones or say your half pipe wheels. These are a lot larger. They're 8.5 centimeters in diameter. The trucks are also quite a bit wider. And the trucks are made out of a very solid alloy. So right up front here, we do have these 3 powerful LED lights. So this is great for safety and also lighting up the path ahead of you. The wheel hub is made out of a very hard ABS style plastic. Then we have rubber outer wheel to it. And then the inner ball bearings. So they're typical standard skateboard ball bearings here that you can replace these. In the middle, you'll find our battery pack here. So no rail sliding with this particular skateboard. I mean, it's not that type of skateboard anyway to begin with. Now, there's this alloy here. That's with the controller. That's cooling the internals of the battery pack and things. So making sure it doesn't overheat. It will heat up with use, of course. When you touch that, it can get quite warm. Our charging plug here is metal and it does have a gasket inside it to keep out dust and water. After all, this particular skateboard does have an IP54 rating, so you can go through puddles. A few splashes of water is not going to be an issue for this. And here is our power button. So at the moment it's flashing blue. That's because the controller is automatically connected up to it. And then the rear truck, this again is made out of a very hard alloy, and we've got both of the motors in the 2 wheels there. So this is rear wheel drive. And you can see those 2 lights there. They're very bright red LEDs. So if I pull back on the controller, which is our braking, you can see they turn a bright red. And if I push in the button to enable then the lights, they flash all the time. So this is good for safety. The skateboard has a very small kick on it on the rear. So it's enough just to pull up the front wheels easily, but you're not going to be able to do any super high ollies or anything like that. So the build quality of the skateboard overall, I would give it a 9 out of 10. The finish is very good. I can't see any flaws. There's no rough edges. The only thing that has maybe not such a good build quality would be the controller. It's just a little bit cheap, the plastic they've used on it. So we have a very light controller here. This thing only weighs 65 grams, so it can fit in your pocket quite easily as well because of its small size. And it's just like other electric skateboards. So you press forward to move forward, you press back to deaccelerate brake, and tapping in will turn on and off our lights. And here we have a switch here, so that's to go into reverse mode. I don't really know why I'd want to be doing that. And that indicator there is telling us the battery life of the controller itself right here. So tapping the top button is to turn it on. If I press it again, I can cycle through the various different power modes. So this is going to control your speed and power outputs. That's beginner mode. And then we just go into like a more advanced mode, advanced eco mode, and then your advanced top high speed mode, which is level 4. And to charge the controller, it's just a simple Type-C port on the bottom, and it only takes about half an hour to charge the 600 mAh battery within it. So there is an app for it as well. It connects up via Bluetooth, and it doesn't seem to report the battery life for some reason. It just says 0 there, but it'll give you information, your remaining kilometers. Now this is all displayed on the on-screen display anyway, so I probably won't actually be using this. There are a few settings that you can configure as well when you go into it. So you can set the units of measurement, your braking level, acceleration level, and also just basic info of the board itself. So what about those motors? Are they loud motors? Well, I'll give you a sample of it right now, here indoors without any noise from traffic. So as you can hear from that, it does make a little bit of a noise, and you'll probably hear it in my video now. So let's go out and just test this thing. I am so looking forward to this. It's an absolute stunner of a day here on the Mediterranean coast. This is a city called Denia, which I will be reviewing the scooter in. So perfect conditions here today. It is really hot though, it's about like 32 degrees. So while the board is quite long, it is lightweight and it can fit in most car boots without a problem. This is one of the pros of having a skateboard like this, is the portability you get with it. Now as soon as you move the skateboard forward, it automatically powers on, and then just hold down the controller for about 3 seconds. And it is on and paired up with the skateboard. And it'll move, you can see, without you even being on it. So you have to be very careful of that. So just kick off. And then forward on the joystick with my thumb. And I'm wearing gloves because I did actually come off before. And the ride's smooth, good torque, good acceleration. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a climb ahead. I will not give it a running start. Now this does have really rough tiles just up ahead with texture on them, so let's see how it handles it. Oh, it's about a 20-degree climb, 15, 20 degrees, and just able to do this. Cleared it. I actually didn't think it would because of the very rough ground. So I wanted to test out whether I can ride it over really bumpy surfaces as well. I mean, look at this ground here. These tiles have this pattern to them, so they're not exactly easygoing for the small wheels of a skateboard. Alright, it can do it, only just. Very bumpy going, and I can see it's chewing through the battery as well. You can be very careful of any stones, rocks or potholes, of course. Okay, so downhill braking is when you hear the motor the most, really. You've got to be very gentle on the stick, so just pull back on it slightly, and you'll hear now when I brake, just hear those motors. Now one thing I don't particularly like is the emergency braking. So when you pull back right back on the stick, it's a little too heavy-handed, I found, and a lot of the times it will actually just throw you completely off the board. So this is ideally where the skateboard is suited to, and that is bike lanes, smoother surfaces, up to 25 kilometers per hour. Don't really want to go much faster than that. Alright, the battery is pretty much dead. It's really slow right now. And how many kilometers have I done? So I just checked my maps, and it's 12 kilometers. Now I managed to do 5 kilometers and only lose 1 bar, about 25%, but that was when I was on the very smooth surfaces. As soon as I started to ride on the very rough terrain, that's when it completely just started to burn through that battery. So I think you're looking at approximately, I would say, anywhere from about 15 to 20 kilometers depending on the surfaces you're riding on. So I'm sunburnt, I'm sore, I came off 3 times in total, one in spectacular fashion. I hit a bottle top of all things on the front wheel, and I went flying and I bruised up my elbow here. So protective gear is highly recommended. Now I did have knee pads on, gloves, and a helmet, but you didn't see when I was wearing that, when the shots that I've just shown you of me going past, I took my helmet off for that. But yes, definitely recommended protective gear and some experienced skateboarding. Now, it's been probably about 20 years since I've skateboarded, at least doing the kind of kilometers that I've done now. Now, the handling of the board is very good thanks to the wide trucks, the big wheels, so it can handle the textures on the surface of some roads really well. But it's just like anywhere with skateboarding, that it all depends on your surfaces, your footpaths, your sidewalks. So if you've got good sidewalks, good roads, then you're going to be able to get also a much better range and distance on this. So with my test, I got 12 kilometers. Now I was on the accelerator most of the time, full power. Now the top speed, I didn't test out the full top speed mode because it just got a little bit scary to me getting up to almost 30 kilometers per hour on a skateboard. And considering the fact that I'd come off already, that knocked my confidence right down. But I can see it definitely getting up to 30 and even over up to the claimed 35 kilometers per hour with this. So the battery life did fall short here because of my conditions with the terrain. The build quality of the skateboard itself is very good. The controller, the plastics feel a little bit cheap to me, so it's not like a real high quality ABS plastic that they are using with it, unfortunately. And the other thing I do like too is just how light this is. So it's only about 7 kilos, where most of the scooters I review weigh 12 and over, and sometimes even heavier than that. So it's easy enough to put this under a bed, store it somewhere, and even just pick it up and walk into, say, a train, or put this in the boot of your car. That's one of the benefits of having this, but of course much more dangerous than the scooters, I believe, because of just the smaller wheels and the fact that, as any skateboarder will know, that a stone can turn a good day into a bad day here. So the Woboard S, really really nice board. I had so much fun with it, but I don't really think skateboarding's for me. I'm just getting too old for this. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I do hope to catch you back in the channel with more up and coming videos. Bye for now.